championships. The mothership core is dead, and so is Stats. GG!
아쉬움이 많이 남는 그런 하루가 될 것 같네요. 힘이 없죠.
신형은 견제가 오든 말든 이쪽만 보면 막 끝낼 수 있다는 거. 너무 우쩍 커버렸어요, 테란이.
그렇죠. 여기 들어와서 시대까지 만패. 진짜 김대현 넌 안 돼. 상대를 찍어 누르는 이신영입니다. 네, 아이콘이 김대현 선수 아닙니까? 못 참았으면 지금 여기까지 올라오지 못했어요.
Everything is silent. It's the calm before the storm. Through the fire and the pressure, the brightest star is
팔을 주고
born.
뼈 부러뜨릴 수 있죠.
No one's ever seen a light that shines as bright as this. The cosmos might explode. Everything cease to exist.
주원이 나온 사람 선수들의 간절함이 빛이 보기 시작한 거죠.
챔피언 김대현!
Live from Free Cup Studio in Seoul, this is the GSL.
What is this song? It's good. I'm Shazamming this one right now. Welcome back to the GSL Codas. We're going to go on to the winners match now. Mirror matchup, Protoss versus Protoss.
Stats versus Classic. What do you think about these two facing off?
You know, I have no idea in this case. With these two in a mirror matchup right now, if I had to guess, I'd say Stats, but Classic's been very good at PvP historically.
Yeah, Classic's great at PvP. No questions there. And in fact, occasionally we've seen him demolish Stats, but it really matters where the metagame's at. Like, does Stats really know what he's doing? You know, in that given meta. And, I mean, it's been standard for long enough that I'm sure he can play quite a strong game, but I mean...
Hey, my Shazam never worked. I never was able to find out what the song was.
Well, that's probably just how new it is. That's BK for you, man.
We are more hipster than the hipsterest you've ever met. We are...
Hipster's not the right word for BK. That's
it
what
wasn't even
hipsters wish they were.
It wasn't even like we liked it before it got mainstream and cool. It's like we were the first people to probably play that song.
Actually, when we were doing GSL the other day,
yeah,
I think Wolf or Brendan like showed us a Shazam that they did of one of the songs that played, and literally was the first Shazam anyone did of the song. And it's
crazy.
Like, damn, BK, you're good.
I know. Okay, we're going to go on to the map. Blackpink, the winner moves on to the round of 16.
GSL Season 1, Code S, Daybreak.
When the lights come out.
Splice, Stats.
I'm wondering if this might be the most, like, straightforward PvP that we've casted in a while.
Huh.
Classic.
Okay,
You know,
so
Stats is always somebody who's kind of just better at defending against stuff, and that's usually how he gets his lead.
Yeah.
As he just stays back and waits for his opponent to attack into him, and then he comes out on top, and then it's, you know, it's in his favor. He kind of comes out and dominates the map and wins there. But Classic, not always, but a lot of times has had a similar approach where he's just pretty straight down the middle, not doing anything really risky. I don't know. I mean, let's see what actually happens in this game, but we could have a pretty long PvP even with these two.
who's the cheesiest, most aggressive Protoss ever? It's Haas, right? So
I think so, yeah.
If we have a line, right? We have this line with all these like little pegs, right? Like we're making a chart.
Okay.
On one side, left side, the good side, we have Rain. Ultimate
side of
defensive macro Protoss, right?
The virtuous StarCraft
The virtuous side.
So Rain,
And
yeah,
then
he
on
was definitely the most defensive.
The dirty side over on the other side is Haas. So from Rain to Haas, where does everyone lie, right?
So then
Stats
it
is
goes-
right next to Rain.
It goes, okay, so I can actually do this, I think.
Yeah.
Bear with me here. We're going to have Haas over here. I think the next person's actually Hero.
Yeah, probably.
Hero, you go a little bit further over. SOS.
Yeah.
But SOS, it's a little bit
He's actually not on the chart.
amorphous.
He's like up a little bit.
He's
He's like above it.
He's up 2 pegs and over to the right.
Yeah.
With a little asterisk by his name. But then
Yeah.
there's SOS. Okay, so let me go a little bit further back here. I'd say if we go back to the other side, I'd say Zest is somewhat close to Rain.
Yeah. Stats would
Stats.
be right next to Rain now.
Yeah, Stats right next to Rain, then Zest. Maybe Classic's actually right in the middle now that I think about it.
Oh, I think Classic he's close to the middle. Yeah, he's like somewhere in between all these guys.
Actually, maybe Trap's the most in the middle then.
Oh, I think Trap is a little bit more on the cheese side, just slightly, but not because he's cheesy. It's because he takes risks, whereas like Rain wouldn't take risks, and
No.
Stats not really. Like, in fact, that's how Trap like made his name in PvP during Heart of the Swarm. Is like no one was. All the good Protoss are like, we're better than Trap, and then they don't take risks, and then he takes a risk and kills him. But
Well, then, is there anybody that actually fits right in the middle? Do we actually have a Protoss player?
Classic is pretty close. But, I mean, I'd have to sit down and think about this for a bit. Okay, so Stats is actually hiding a DT shrine now that we've said all that. That's
So now
fantastic.
we're completely not right about replacing these guys.
You see, this is why he's also a champion, is because he has a certain style of defensive play, but against Classic, you can't just play one simple way and win a game, right? Like, you got to have a pretty big range. And this proxy DT is definitely something that could way throw him off. But he actually scouts the incoming Oracle, so that's quite important.
Okay, so the Oracle is headed up here. There's 2 Stalkers warping in. And there's also a second Oracle being made. So we really got to see where the Oracles are and how they're used, as well as where they're on the map when the DTs actually come in. So this first Oracle is targeting down some probes, and it does take out 5 total, and it gets out.
God, that was so close.
It's so important that the Oracle, all of them, stay alive for as long as
Yeah.
possible, because he needs some kind of direct answer, because a DT can very quickly get more kills than the Oracle can.
Well, he's got a Robo on the way. Where
Yeah.
are the DTs? There's one, finally. Oh, is he just barely not going to see this? Okay, he could have possibly seen it. Just seeing that DT is probably in his mind. He'll chrono out an Observer immediately.
Okay. The second Oracle has come in.
Okay,
Now,
this... Okay, yeah.
Force field on the ramp here. Now,
This is good handling.
yeah, they haven't killed anything yet.
Yeah. They're going to kill some stuff, but, like, so far this is not bad. Oh, are you kidding me?
Artosis, are they going to kill anything at all?
Jeez. Yeah.
Wow, Classic
probes.
almost making this look easy, but here comes the DT in the main now. And this DT only has so much time to do damage. Of course, mining time is getting interrupted, but you know, this is a very big investment to go for Dark Templars.
Okay, 6. You know, and he got somewhere in that range with his Oracles. What do you get, 4 or 5? I think 5.
I think so, yeah.
So the counts are pretty close overall. I mean, DT Tech is a pretty useful thing to have, but I would say the 2 Oracles at this moment in the game are really nice to have. So this is not really I can't really name who's super ahead at this point.
Let's see now if Classic can come back in with these Oracles. The threat of the DTs coming in later on is basically gone now that there's observers here. So maybe he's going to try to come back in and gun down more probes. You'd have to imagine that Stats is going to be ready for that, though, as we can see right here.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get any more damage done with these, but they're fantastic scouts, of course. Laying down some of these stasis wards, that's nice. You know, you just blindly send a probe there to make a Nexus, and suddenly you can't make the Nexus for quite a while because there's a frozen probe.
Okay, Observer spotting the other Observer. Really good reaction time here by Stats. Is he actually going to get it, though?
Oh,
he does not.
Funny.
Only Shield
He drew the
out.
hits on the the Oracle to save
Yeah.
it. That was nice.
Pretty cool. Well, for the time being, Stats is going to have to turtle up. He is getting a lot more gates and starting to really map out the rest of his tech. But at the same time for Classic, that's happening as well. Worker count is dead even right now, both at 46.
Yeah, this is a very close game right now.
They're powering both on 2 bases.
Both of them
at
just
that.
continually making these Immortals
Look
get
at
their
the weapons
+1
upgrade.
also. Oh, yeah.
I guess we got to say Classic's in the lead this game, Artosis.
Oh, certainly. You're right about
His
that.
+1 attack finished 3.5 seconds before his opponents.
Yeah. So, from here, okay, so Classic going to make his 3rd Nexus first. Look at that, the Stasis Wards. See, the Oracles are paying off, even though they're not killing more. He's slowed down that 3rd Nexus by quite a bit, which is nice. Of course, both sides getting charge and +2. They're going to go into charge Archon with Immortals, both of them getting Prisms at the same time. This part of the game in PvP generally plays itself a little bit. The openings you can play around with a lot, but eventually you need to make a lot of Immortals, Archons, and Zealots. And that's kind of the stage that we're at right now. Looking at it, I mean, you do have to give Classic like just a very slight lead. I don't think it's huge right now, but
I like the unit setup he has and the overall direction this game has gone. I think he did such a good job holding the DTs and not losing that much that you gotta give him a nod there.
Yeah, and don't forget he did force a decent amount of Stalkers out of stats, and it's not that they're bad. You know, the Stalker is a good unit; it's a useful unit, but this is not a game where we're going to be seeing Blink being that useful or anything. The additional money spent in Zealots should be a little bit better.
Okay, looks like Classic is itching for a fight.
And he does have the better army by a little bit, but that doesn't mean you can just attack in either. You got to be very careful about this.
Yeah, one bad engage and this whole game can even out. Or even end up with Classic a little bit behind. Now this is something that's so smart. He knows that there's going to be armies moving around and trying to relocate to get ready for the next big attack that might come from Classic. So anytime he comes in there with the Oracles, it just shaves off a few workers. It puts Stats in a worse position. And I think Classic is now eking out that lead pretty substantially here. Workers, army supply, even unit composition is overall better for Classic. But he still needs to have a proper engage where everything can be optimized and there's synergy with his army.
Yeah. Their armies are like close enough in power that, let's say if he charges in and like his Zealots all charge onto the Nexus and Pylon and stuff and take their first volley on that, then suddenly we could see Stats just take the battle.
So much of PvP in StarCraft 2 is actually how the armies end up interacting with each other. Hold on, here we go.
Well, 2 of his Archons are stuck in the back. His Immortals take a little bit to get up front, but look at those stuck Zealots. Great force fields coming down as well.
The Archons trampling the force fields, and it seems like Classic's decided better to try to draw Stats out while threatening the natural base over here.
Some Zealots warped in there, do charge forward onto this army, but can't do too much against that Archon.
I think it's going to be very hard for Stats to actually try to walk down this ramp. He's going to go for it now, and losing quite a bit. You can see Stats juggling some Archons over to the corner, but I think at this point in time, I think Stats is going to lose the fight on both fronts as Classic is continuing to push in. The Stalker's now getting mowed down. We may see GG in a second here.
Very well done game here from Classic. Look at that. He just bashes through and takes that first game against Stats after that proxy DT rush.
Pretty perfectly handled. Now, we were saying before, Stats is usually known for having a more ordinary opening and trying to defend. And then when he holds off at some kind of a big attack, it's that moment that he shines at. But Stats, this time around, trying to mix it up, went for DTs in Classic. The handling against those DTs was perfect.
It really was so well done.
And
considering how late his Robo was.
That's right.
That could have been a game-losing scenario.
He had those oracles out on the map. He was continuing to shave down probes here and there and slow down that third base. And in the end, Classic just had more. And that final engage, if you're trying to learn about PvP, that fight we saw there is worth watching.
Yeah.
Because he was very patient. He set up a good position, and he had a little bit of pressure on that second Nexus for Stats.
Yeah,
and eventually
right.
Stats...
You make him run down the ramp into you, and you have the concave, and what do you do?
Yeah, Stats kind of freaked out there for a little bit. He knew if he doesn't do something soon, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
And he ran right into the Archon shots. His Zealots disappeared, and Classic came out on top. Game number 2 is going to be on the map Neon Violet Square. I have no idea what to expect going into our next match.
Season
Let's do
1,
this.
Code S, Daybreak.
When the lights come out.
Splice, Stats. Classic.
Yeah, so Stats playing a little bit aggressive in that first game. I don't think he'll do that here. It's a very good defensive map. You have that kind of pocket third base. I wouldn't be too surprised, though, if we see Classic try to get a little bit quick after that victory. Although, to be fair, he did the same build 3 times in a row against JJAKJI.
Yeah, but I think it's a different matchup and a different player.
Yeah.
I think against JJAKJI, no disrespect to JJAKJI, but I think that Classic was going into that match thinking, okay, I'm basically better than JJAKJI, and the longer this game goes on, the more of a lead I can engineer. So all I have to do is be ready for weird stuff early on, and I think that's why he goes for those stalkers and gets blink, and it basically paid off. I think against Stats, it's a totally different game. Stats is very crafty. He really is much more of a complete package. Stats is somebody who can eliminate anybody in a tournament. Anybody in a tournament.
Oh, for sure. You're right about that.
And Stats, frankly, has been a little bit more dominant. Actually, I should say a lot more dominant than Classic, specifically in 2017. I think Classic was a great player in 2016. But really, it's almost as if the mantle shifted. The crown ended up going to Stats for Protoss last year. And I actually do believe there's a bit of a rivalry between these two.
There is a little bit.
The two players with some of the most recent dominant history with Protoss in the last 2 years.
And they've had some knockdown series against each other as well.
For sure.
One of those GSL groups, what is it, round of 16? One of them last year, was it? Or was it your... I don't remember exactly, but I do remember Classic going like 4-0 against Stats, and it was pretty impressive. But, yeah, I mean, you're certainly right. Stats has been way better recently, especially in the last year. But Classic's always in good shape. You know, even if he didn't win anything last year, he was always kind of a contender, always having those good games like Stats. He's someone who can eliminate anyone from a tournament. Everyone knows what a fierce competitor he is. He's got, a huge amount of experience at this point. Plenty of tournament wins. If the guy doesn't do anything else in his career, he's still one of the more successful Protoss players ever.
Also, Stats has always struck me as somebody who's just very comfortable in his own skin. And I think that as he goes into each tournament, he doesn't seem, at least as far as I can tell, to be someone who's that shaken or that stressed out. It's like each time he goes and plays a big match or he goes to a tournament, that's just as if he was in an RPG. He's just gaining experience points and leveling up. Whereas so many other players, it's a total emotional journey, of ups and downs, and there's a patch that comes out, and a player can't operate under that current patch or under the current meta or under the current set of maps. Oh no.
Well, this was already not going well because Stats opened with a Phoenix rather than an Oracle. And he's going to see that that's the case. And there's a shield battery. This Oracle is not doing a single thing. And he's going to lose his low ground, that's for sure.
Yeah. Stats is going to try to push up here. This is a lot of Stalkers.
Ooh, if he had gotten a force field, that would have been great. He doesn't. This is bad. Stats is going to kill him for sure.
Well, it's kind of funny because we got to get that setting fixed because units keep disappearing instead of dying. Yeah, he's coming down here now, and I'm even surprised that Classic tried to hold the low ground here. This is less of a game of micro and more of a game of math when you have this many Stalkers.
That was kind of weird because his Oracle saw everything coming.
Target practice.
Oh my god.
This is game.
Okay.
All right. I don't think we're going to see a game like that from Classic come in here to game number 2.
Look at that patrolling Phoenix.
Yeah.
Well,
GG, I guess.
Yeah. He had a couple sentries, so if he had been a little bit closer to the rocks and could have force fielded in like 2-3 Stalkers, maybe he ends up pulling that low ground. But
yeah,
as is, like Stats got him in every conceivable way. He went
really
Phoenix
did.
against Oracle. He caught the Oracle. He made pure Stalker against someone making Stalker Sentry and just kind of bulldozed. Very straightforward game there.
Well, we are going to hop into Ascension to IR for map number 3 with these two. The winner of this next game survives and goes on to the round of 16. The loser is going to go to the final best of 3 that we have here today. Both these guys, so talented, so good at Protoss. PvP is a tricky matchup, a lot of mind games. The whole matchup itself is in some ways a bit of a poker game early on as you're trying to figure out what build you can do based off what build you predict them to do. Some of that based off the map, some of that based off of the meta and the playstyle of that specific player. Whatever they've got to deliver it now.
Our next map is the big one, Tasteless.
Let's do it. This is the last game between these two players.
GSL Season 1, Code S, Daybreak. When the lights come out. Splice, Stats.
Very quick victory in that last game.
Well, that's
a bit less technical than game 1, but
to be honest, if you're in a tournament match, that's exactly how you want to win.
Oh, yeah.
Something straightforward.
Yeah.
That's not taxing.
Just like, yeah.
It's also...
You made the wrong units, I made the right ones.
Yeah.
You were a little bit out of position. You're super dead.
What are you doing? This isn't going to stop all my Stalkers.
Yeah.
Although it was a bit odd to see Classic try to hold the low ground there.
If he was a little bit quicker out to those rocks, with 2 sentries, he had like 3 force fields between them. You pick off 3-4 Stalkers there and you get another warp in, you hold, you know?
Sure.
But then
that's
the
not what
Stalkers
happened.
were there, yeah.
He just walked up. He did not even run up the ramp. He ran like to the left of the ramp.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what he was trying to do.
But it's hard. StarCraft 2 especially, out of both the StarCrafts, it's like games end so fast sometimes.
Yeah,
you could have done basically everything right, and then in like 3 seconds, if you didn't handle stuff correctly, you just die.
The damage output is pretty severe at times, you know. You get into, I mean, situations like that can exist in both games, but damn, that was a fast game. We were not even done our, the little rambling we do in the early game to fill in the time where they're both making 2 gateways and the
trying
probe
to build a
gets
story
there.
between the 2 players.
Yeah. And the probe scout's always funny in PvP, I find, because there's always a wall in with 2 gateways because there's not another way to play, and they both see that, and then it's like, okay, I'll get out of here before an adept can be made. You know.
Okay, but it's actually going to be Stalker Sentry here for Classic.
Yeah, more of a macro opening there. The Stalkers give you a little bit more flex. You can get aggressive with it. But, of course, with the Sentry, when you make your Nexus and stuff, you already have a scouting tool. You have that really great hallucination scout quite quickly. Now, a Stargate coming up for Classic once again, but just a quick Nexus here from Stats. Now, because he does have 2 Stalkers, he can walk across the map with them and see what's up.
Probe fight. Stalker's coming up now. Classic needs to run back. Again, the 2 Stalkers here from Stats are definitely something that Classic's going to have to respect. Classic did get that 1 sentry. So he will head all the way back here. I don't think that Stats is going to push any further here since he's close to a rallying point.
Yeah. But he should have clicked on the Nexus there and, well, just seen anyways with health bars, the health it was at. And he actually threw... Did he make that robo? Okay, I think he made that right before he saw it, but... Yeah, like, just seeing the Nexus, you know that it wasn't made instantly. And you only saw 2 Stalkers. So, you know, I'm sure that Stats has in the back of his mind that this absolutely could be something like an Oracle.
Okay, so the first hallucinated Phoenix is about to come out here and spot. You can see that Stats is checking around the perimeter of his base to see if Classic has any surprises for him. And this hallucinated Phoenix is going to allow Classic to come up with a plan, assuming he does want to come in here and try to take out probes on what angle that should be at. And it looks like he is going to try to come in here. Got to be careful. That's a lot of Stalkers.
Yeah.
Those 4 volleys eliminate all the shields on the Oracle.
Yeah. Doesn't really get anything done. A second Oracle is on the way. So, you know, you can fly in 2 at once and one-shot probes. Definitely get a few that way. You can at least do some scouting here as well with the Oracles. But overall, Stats did get the faster Nexus. He hasn't taken any damage yet. You know, he's going to be a little bit ahead in overall strength of the army, but Oracles are, you know, just such useful units. I'm sure that Classic can find, you know, some advantages using these. You know, Stats, it doesn't matter how many fake Phoenixes you have attacking an Oracle, you're never going to kill it. Just FYI.
I suppose
it's got 2 hallucinations chasing.
Well, it is a good way to keep track of it.
It is. You are right about that.
It's sort of his version of tagging it with his own Oracle. And frankly, in most other PvPs, these 2 Oracles would have killed off a lot more workers, but there's really no element of surprise there with that. Okay. Did
it live or die?
It lived. It got away.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah. Unless I'm crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was so close. Well, no real damage being dealt. Stats just now getting into his Twilight. His Forge actually a little bit later than Classics as well. He is up in 5 workers.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's but even that's close enough where we can't really discern too much.
Yeah.
I guess maybe even the biggest thing that Classic has a slight lead on here is the fact that he just got his first Immortal out, right? Or did he already have one out? Am I crazy?
I believe Classic has one, and I think Stats' first one is about to pop out.
Well,
I believe.
He might have a little bit more momentum with the Immortals. Okay, coming in here now. Going to try to target down a few more workers. Good blocking here with the Stalkers. Whoa, wait.
3 kills. And
oh, my God.
Yeah, not sure exactly what he got there, but 3 kills total. So that brings them within a couple workers of each other now. 2-3.
I was talking about how, and this was, I believe, during Game 1, I was saying that we should have a much more normal game, or like a normal series between these 2. Since they're both pretty solid at just, you know, standard PvP. And I think this is going to be the game where we're actually going to see that.
Yeah, it looks like it. You know, the DT game looked kind of similar to this, but Classic did have a bit of an advantage. Going into this, Stats has a bit of that supply advantage. His natural was quicker, and his third is quicker as well. But actually, not by barely anything. Never mind. I guess the thirds are about the same time. See what he can do with that.
Templar Archives coming up now.
The amount of hallucinated Phoenixes is so fun in this game. Just constant hallucinated Phoenixes. I feel like I'm at like one of those kite flying festivals. I'm like, yeah, no, I guess people like kites.
So Archons are now coming into play here. As Zealot Leagues is going to finish up here. So now we're going to have the Zealot Archon combo.
Oh. Okay, so look at how many Stalkers that Stats has. This is one of the reasons why Classic was able to kill him in Game 1, is he made a lot of Stalkers to block the Oracles.
Oh, this is an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, because like the Stalkers don't add that much. Like they definitely add some. They do a lot of damage. You know, they're a good unit. But we're sitting here, we're watching a game without Blink, so they aren't that mobile in the army. And Immortals are a huge part of these armies.
Well, this is a really interesting point you're bringing up, Artosis. I mean, the fact that, no matter what, you basically have to have Stalkers to stop their Oracles. But if they're not going Oracles themselves against you, you don't need those Stalkers at all. And I think in some ways this allows you, especially once Immortal production comes into play, to have a way superior army. Right now, Classic is on 5 Immortals to the 2 that Stats has.
Yeah.
Now think about how fast these Immortals are going to kill these Stalkers. The Stalkers, some of them only going to get 1 to 2 volleys off before they're dead. And I guess from there, the rest of the Zealot Archon unit comp can kind of clean house.
Yeah, a lot of this is going to come down to Stats, is does he have enough sellouts? Because at this point, he's even skimped on probes a bit. He's just going for a kill.
Yeah.
He has to win with this attack. Or at least do some significant damage. I'm very... Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Get those back there, Classic. Oh, if he flew those into the Stalkers, the game would definitely be over.
Let's keep in mind the Warp Prism is amazing for juggling these Immortals. All right, here we go. Is this a mistake here by Stats? Stats is looking to pounce.
Dude,
Guardian Shield should get activated here.
Let's see what this Stasis Ward does as well. If there's a significant amount of Zealots that get caught in that, then it's an instant hold for Classic. But Stats has a lot of supply, man.
Okay, you can see Stats still looking for an opening.
So he's up
Classic
by 23 supply, but he has 24 supply in Stalkers.
Here's what's weird about it is that every time Stats goes up, Classic almost exactly catches up just a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So there's like, as far as the warp and tempo-wise, I guess Stats does have a slight lead, but I think this is going to be very tough for Stats to actually push into.
Yeah.
In fact, he may just be trying to hold a certain spot and keep the pressure on Classic while Stats is taking his 4th base and then just try to get ahead in that way.
You know?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I can't believe he keeps trying to do this.
Well, this is almost too greedy, considering the circumstances.
Yeah. The thing is, if he got those to the main base, you'd have to see a recall. Because you drop off 2 Immortals, warp in 8 Zealots, your main base is toast if you do not react immediately to that. So, like, I see in a way why he's trying to do that, but if he loses that Prism, I think Stats just attacks and wins. Oh my god, Classic is the most out of position any human has ever been.
Yep.
This is crazy to me that he was down there.
But most of the Zealots are down at the bottom, now surrounding that Immortal. Classic coming in from the top. Stats' supply way superior at this point in time. Oh my god, Stats is going to close this one out.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. So many Zealots coming in as well. Classic played very well, but gets out of position and Stats immediately jumps on him.
GG. Stats. Very well done. Just comes out on top. I mean, I don't think the game had to end like that, which is what's unfortunate about it. It's that, Stats was just more patient. And, from there, I think, and not just that Stats is more patient, I think also Classic maybe got a little bit greedy at the end there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he walked down the ramp, and then Stats just walks up the other ramp and he's like, we're near your base, not near mine, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what? Suddenly, you have to attack up a ramp into a concave to save your base. It's never going to happen. So good win by Stats there, but that was a very close series.
It was. It really goes to show you how much of PvP is a positional game.
Yeah.
All 3 of them, game 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
김대엽 선수 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
Yuri says our first player to get out of the group is Stats. Congratulations.
네,
He says thank you.
자, 먼저 2018년 첫 번째 시즌 16강에 안착한 소감부터 들어볼까요?
Firstly, in 2018, in the first season, you made it to the round of 16. How do you feel?
최근에
So when I was looking at my group,
선수들이 좀 많은 조로 이렇게 배치를 받아가지고
I saw there were a lot of great
걱정을 많이
players.
했었는데 다행히 이렇게
So,
올라가게 돼서
I was a little bit
다행인 것
concerned. I can just say I'm relieved that I managed to escape to the round of 16.
승자전 김도우 선수와의 이 마지막 3세트를 끝나고 나서
Let's talk
정말
about that winner's match against
좋아하시면서
Classic.
안도하시는 모습을 보여주셨는데 그 의미는요?
최종
We could see from your
가면은
facial expression,
질것
you seemed
같아가지고
quite relieved
아예
after
1등으로
defeating him.
올라가고 싶었고요. 그리고
네.
또
Yeah.
뭔가
I was actually thinking in that last game before it started that I was probably going to get eliminated.
네.
최근에 그래서 복수를 꼭 해주고 싶어가지고
Recently, I've lost a lot of games against Classic. I was hoping I could get my revenge tonight, and since I did, I'm in a good mood.
하시는 게 느껴졌었어요. 이 대격변 이후 조금 안 좋은가요? 힘드세요?
아니요 지금은 그
네.
뭐냐 이번에
After the
GSL
patch, it doesn't seem to work well with your
준비를
playing
하면서
style.
어느 정도 극복을 한 것 같고요.
Yeah, so during my preparation for the round of
높은 무대에서 이렇게 더
excuse me, for my prep during the GSL round of 16, I'm gonna have to get over the limitations that I have.
김도우 선수를 이기고
My goal is to
싶다,
just show even better games in the round of 16.
하셨는데, 자 이제 16강 조지명식에서 시드가 있으시거든요. 이제 두 번째로 지명권이 있으신데 작년 시즌 3 때 그
You're
상황 상대
seated second in the
김유진
group
선수에게
nominations.
복수하고 싶으신 마음은 없으세요?
Don't you want to get revenge on
내가
SOS?
잘해가지고
아,
복수하고
그래요?
싶은 마음
He eliminated you in the semifinals last
없어요?
season.
없는데
네.
또
Well,
근데 이렇게
SOS is really
말
strong, honestly.
들어보니까
네.
So I'm not really
그래도
sure I
작년에
want to
한번
get
복수를
revenge on
한번
him.
해주고 싶은 마음도
But since we're
조금씩
talking about that
생기고,
now,
집에 가서 좀 생각을 해봐야겠네요.
그렇군요. 집에 가서
I guess I wouldn't mind getting revenge on him. I'm gonna have to have some more time to think about that and react to the
팬들에게
round of
한마디
16.
마지막으로 들어볼게요.
So,
추운데 응원해
any words to your
주셔서
fans?
너무너무 감사드리고요.
I know it's really cold in
사실
Korea
오늘
right now,
이기기까지는 그 뒤에서
and I'm amazed that this many people would come down to the studio
친구들
when it's this
덕분에
cold out. So I want to say
이렇게
thank you,
이길 수 있었던
everybody,
것 같아요.
for coming out of your way to come down here. Also,
지원이 그리고
I want to thank all my
준호,
friends that helped me
홍준이,
prep. That
기웅이,
goes for Solar, Byun,
유진이까지 좀 많이 도와줬는데
BL,
고맙다는 말
Hero,
전하고 싶어요.
SOS.
굉장히 많이
There are so
도와주세요.
many other
Every
players.
good player.
제가 좀
Batman,
많이 했거든요.
Spider-Man.
인맥 관리를 잘하는
Obama.
것 같습니다. 알겠습니다.
Now-
다시 한번 축하드리겠습니다.
He said, "Yep, I asked all those people."
네, 이렇게 오늘의
He didn't actually say
1위
Batman,
16강
Spider-Man,
진출자
Obama.
김대엽 선수 만나봤고요. 계속해서
Like, he didn't say Bill either.
조지명과 이후 경기 일정 안내해드리겠습니다.
Okay, so
자, 2월 초에
quick update here with the
예정된
schedule.
IEM 경기
We're going to be
일정으로
starting
인해서
early
다음 주 수요일
on the next
선수들과
Wednesday.
H조
It's going to be at 5 p.m.
5시.
Yeah,
So
group
mark that
nominations
down.
right afterwards.
That's right. So
First time with a foreigner in Seoul.
That's right. Scarlett's here. And don't miss out IEM Pyeongchang, and we will be casting that for you guys too.
더불어 16강 경기 일정 역시
yeah.
IEM 평창과
Non-stop
서울 연휴로
StarCraft
인해서
action. It's good
다소
times.
변경이 있다는 점 기억해 주시기
It's
바라겠습니다.
been a good day so far.
자,
Obviously, we are not done yet. We want to go to the losers match coming up here and decide who's going to be eliminated first. I'm a little bit worried for JJAKJI. I think Impact is really playing the best games of his life.
Yeah, I'm still pretty sure him and Classic are going to get out of this group. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
By the way, quick reminder, if you're in the studio, keep your tickets. There is a giveaway at the end of the show. And, yeah. There's a GSL uniform giveaway.
Yeah. Keep your tickets. They're raffle tickets. That's
And
it, though.
that does it. We're out of time. In just a little bit, we'll be back with the losers match. So don't go away. We'll see you soon.